Hello everyone, and today we're gonna make a sourdough bread. So for this recipe, I consider that you have the material, at least scale, scrapers, forms, blade and the timer. This is the basic material that you need at home, and even though I make this recipe in a professional condition, the process will still be the same for you. So for this recipe, we're gonna make loaves of bread on sourdough, of course. So the ingredients, you're gonna need some flour T65. T65 is the type of flour that you can find in France, but it's a white flour, but not extra white, like the one you would use for the pastry, the normal white flour that you would use for white bread. 800 grams. You will need 200 grams whole grain flour T150, like we say in France. You will need 19 grams of salt, and water you will need 620 grams. 620 grams. And levain, so your sourdough, you will need 340 grams of levain. Hello YouTube, I recommend you to check the description of the video and you will have a link to Udemy. Udemy is a platform where I put some course and recipe. You will have lots of extra tips that you don't have in the YouTube video. Unfortunately, I can't put everything for free. I need to eat, and because my channel is not monetized on YouTube. So for this recipe, we do a fermentolyse, not a autolyse. The fermentolyse is the same thing that autolyse, except that we put the levain at the beginning also. The fermentolyse have the same advantages as the autolyse, and with the levain already inside, it's going to start to develop the flavors even stronger for the dough. So for this recipe, you can put the water and the levain together, then all the flour into your mixer. Then you're gonna mix roughly, like I said, 3 minutes pretty much. You see, you don't have the gluten network. You can stretch it, it just breaks and nothing happened because it's roughly mixed. So you're gonna leave it 30 minutes at least, up to 2 hours if you want. You can try at home, you can try to leave it for 30 minutes, up to 2 hours. You will see the differences and write it in a book like this, you will remember. So you see, after half an hour, look at the dough how it is already. You can see the gluten is already working because you can stretch the dough. Before it was just stretching and just breaking, and now you can stretch it more. So after the resting of 30 minutes, you pour the salt into the dough, and then you're gonna start mixing in the first speed. Just the time to slowly incorporate the salt everywhere and give a little bit of mixing, gentle mixing to your dough. So you're gonna do this for 2-3 minutes, and then you're gonna go in second speed. You should mix 2 or 3 or maximum 4 minutes, and then you should have a dough like this one, like beautiful, like very smooth, and that's what we want. Then of course you need to check the temperature of your dough. So if you don't have a thermometer, it's not too much of a problem, but this is something very important to get, because you need to have a dough at about 23, 24 up to 26 degrees Celsius. You have 2 options. First option, you leave your dough into your bowl, into your mixer. You just cover it with a plastic or with a tissue. You don't want your dough to get dry. Or you just take it out and put in a different container. That's what I do because I have a big amount of dough and I still need to mix other dough at work. And then you finally check your dough to see if the mixing is really perfect. To do this, you just stretch it, and you should see a very thin window. You should see through. That means your dough is mixed properly. And in the same time, you can see here, I stretch my dough, let it go, and it comes back. It has some elasticity. That means the dough has already a little bit of strength, which is good. Just after this, you also cover your container and you leave it for 45 minutes up to 1 hour to rest at room temperature. After the first hour, you're gonna give a stretch and fold. The stretch and fold is gonna stretch the dough, it's gonna fold it on itself, and it's gonna give extra strength to the dough. You just simply pull your dough and leave it under, and as you can see, it makes a big ball of dough, and it has already some strength. And by touching it, you will feel that it's hard. And then you leave it for another 45 minutes, up to 1 hour. After the other hour, you give another stretch and fold, and you should feel that your dough is stronger and stronger. After this, you give another rest of 40 minutes up to 1 hour, cover and leave it to rest. 1 hour later, we're gonna divide and weight the dough. So you take out your dough, you put it on the bench you wanna work on. I recommend wooden bench is the best. You're just gonna divide your dough into the weight that you want. But for this recipe, we weight every piece of dough at about 600 grams and 900 grams. And then you need to roll them again. The technique for this is you take your both hand and you need to pull it with your finger just to make a really beautiful ball. It's gonna give a lot of strength to your dough. Once you finish to round all your piece of bread, you cover it with a tissue, with a plastic, and you just leave it. Why cover it again? Like I said before, to avoid that it get dry on the top. As you can see, you take your round, you flip it over. Then you're gonna fold the bottom to the top. And then you're gonna fold the top to the middle. And then you're gonna fold on the top and you press. And then with your right hand, you're gonna grab the dough, fold it to the middle. And then with your other hand and this part here, you're just gonna close the seam, closing everything as you can see. And voila, you have a perfect shaping. You have the seam here, you just rearrange a little bit to make a better shape. And what I like to do for this type of bread, I just put my shaped bread into the rice flour. But also you can make simply some round, and same way, you can roll it in the flour, and you might think, oh, I don't need to round it again. Yes, you need to round it. It's like a shaping anyway. So you need to round it again, and you put it in the flour, into your banneton, and after shaping, you put your dough into the fridge for 24 hours until the next day, the next morning or the next afternoon, when you want to bake your bread, okay? It's gonna have a slow fermentation. Just make sure your fridge is about 4 degrees, 5 degrees. It's higher, it might prove a little bit too much. Try to make it at 4 to 5 degrees. Of course, you can bake your bread the same day, but the process of making bread takes quite a long time, few hours already. If you make it the same day, it's going to take you the whole day. And it's better to have a slow fermentation into the fridge to develop the flavors and the structure, and everything will be better. So I don't recommend to bake the same day, but it's doable. So in this example, for this recipe, we put it in the fridge the whole night, and the next morning, I just take out my bread. I used to put the bread on the boards, like this. I put some rice flour on the bottom, always. I prefer the rice flour. Bit more expensive, but much better to manage. It's not gonna give any flavor to the bread, just for aesthetics. You can put normal flour also, but I think rice flour is still better. Then I score the bread. Like I said before, I give some tips about the scoring, but for this kind of scoring, like if you want an opening like this, not on loaves, but at least on the round bread, you can score like this, straight. So for this round, I make a square. This one, I make a cross. You can make every design that you want. We try to score like 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, not more, and straight into the oven. For the baking of this bread, you're gonna preheat your oven at 235 degrees, and you're gonna bake for 35 minutes. Don't forget to humidify your oven. If you're not sure how to humidify, check the course in the introduction, and then you bake your bread for 35 minutes. Then you take out your bread, and you should have a beautiful, amazing bread to eat again, to enjoy for your meal. Then of course you're gonna cut your bread when it cools down, and you need to have something absolutely beautiful like this. So here what happened, you see it didn't open properly. Well, it happens sometimes, it didn't get enough humidity. So if it didn't get enough humidity, it doesn't open properly. Also maybe because it had a lack of strength, but the other one is absolutely perfect. The ear is really amazing. You can make the same at home. It's not so difficult. So I encourage you to try, to keep trying, keep working on this, and thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed this recipe. I'm trying my best for you to make some really good bread, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.